Hi everybody, my name is Lynette. Thank you so much for clicking on my channel. There's a saying that God gave gardeners rainy days so that they could clean their house. I say a little rain never hurt anybody. So let's go for a tour and see what's happening in my garden. Welcome to the end of May rainy day garden tour. I wanted to start my video today in one of the most inhospitable parts of my garden. This section is very, very dry and shady because I'm underneath the trees. And the rain has definitely knocked back my flowers here. But I'll bring you in closer and show you what's here. It's still pretty even though it's laying down. But I'm going to let this section of my garden go to seed. And that's very unlike me. I do not let things seed. But I'm going to fill this with verbascum, with foxglove. And this is going to be kind of my wild meadow garden, my nod to the Chelsea Garden Show where they're showing all kinds of informal wildflower themed gardens this year. Watch the Chelsea Show if you haven't already watched some of the stuff that they were doing at the Chelsea Show. But I'm going to bring you in, I'll show you what these plants look like close up, and then I'll let you see all the seedlings that are starting to come up. All right, if you come on back here, you can see here is all the verbascum. It's been knocked down right now because of all the rain we've gotten today, but it will straighten up by tomorrow morning if the rain stops. But I'm going to fill this whole area with the verbascum, with foxglove and columbine. And you can see right back here, these are the seedlings that are starting to come up already. So let's see. These are the columbine. There's a foxglove. I don't see any of the verbascum yet, but it's just a matter of time. I'm going to probably start them from seed down in the basement also, just to make sure that this area gets going. But I do not let things go to seed, so this is very unlike me to do this. But it's the only thing that I can think of to do in this rather shady, dry area. I've tried hostas in here, and while they live, they don't thrive. And I want something that's a little bit happier. And I think these plants are gonna just do it. So we're gonna head back around. Gotta hop out through the garden, give you a sneak peek of what we're gonna be looking at across the front. But I just need to tiptoe through the garden here. Hopefully I don't step on any seedlings. Okay. So the front of my garden is basically my spring garden. We have river birch trees, and underneath the river birch trees, I have planted Solomon seal, variegated Solomon seal, and we have the columbine coming up. And this area, the hummingbirds just go crazy for it. They love this columbine. If anybody is looking to do a hummingbird plant, I would strongly, strongly suggest some of these tall columbines. I don't remember planting these, but I must have got them from somebody. And I believe they are very similar to Nora Barlow, but these are definitely blue and white. Across the front, again, it's kind of a hodgepodge. Hostas, foxglove. In the back, the rhodies are starting to bloom. They took a really hard hit this winter. We had a terrible winter. If you want to see what that's about, there are videos out there on that and how we dealt with it. Unprecedented amount of snow here and a lot of damage because of it coming off the roof and having to pull it off the roof a couple times. But things are coming back beautifully. It has been a very cold and wet spring. It feels almost like you're in the Northeast with all the water that they've had. But you can really tell the plants are loving it. The hostas are beautiful. My begonias underneath the other river birch are just fantastic. And they obviously came through the frost threat that we had a couple weeks ago. But this is just a mixture of hostas. Anything that I have, I just tucked it here in this garden. And I'm so pleased with the way this turns out, because this is how it is when you enter from the driveway. You're going to get out of your car. You'll park in the driveway. You'll be greeted by these 3 planters across the front of the garage. And I'm having a lot of fun doing planters this year. Lots of textures and leaf shapes. And I'm kind of into dark foliage. I don't know. But anyway, this is what it's like when you come into my garden. The clematis just started opening up the other day. Some things are past prime, but one thing fades and the next thing starts to open up. So we'll take a look at these columbine. And as you walk down the sidewalk, you're greeted by hostas, begonias, and then on this side, the bloomerang lilac scents the air, tricolored beech, and the deciduous azalea. That orange azalea stands out like a beacon. Turn you around this way. This would take you to the front steps. And I really want to show you this Proven Winners Deutzia Chardonnay Pearl. I don't ever remember it looking as pretty as it is. Again, the rain has flattened it out. We've gotten so much rain this year. So much. And then the hostas. And if I remember correctly, this is Great Expectations. And she has a tendency to burn, but I get just a little bit of burning. She's held up pretty good right there, so I believe she's happy. This is the first year I've put begonias underneath this tree. But as we walk down, you can see the pink rhodies are starting to bloom in the back. And then we come into our courtyard. And this is really a work in progress. You can see I have a lot of plants still in pots, bags of compost that I need to use in my planters. That's maple. But it's just been so hard to plant. It's raining, and it's cold. Still have all my plants that I grew in the basement. They're not as bright green as I would like because the rain just keeps coming down and you can't keep nutrients in the soil. It just washes everything right out. These are my annuals that I've picked up. I still have to plant these. And then back here, you can see what a real working garden looks like. It's not always picked up prim and proper and perfect. There's pots that I was sorting at one time. There are plants that I have dug up out of the garden and I've potted up. I have no idea what I'm gonna do with them. But that's what life is like in a real garden. And my fountain, I'm so excited. This past fall, I divided the hostas and then I planted in between each of the hostas allium. I'm hoping they don't get any taller than they already are, but I know that's just wishful thinking at this point. And the fence around it, I normally don't keep a fence around my hostas here because I don't have a problem with my dogs, but we were puppy sitting and I didn't want the puppy falling into the pond there, so I made sure to fence it off. This is one of the most beautiful things right there. Look at that pink tricolored beech. And I love having that pop of yellow in the back. I think it just sets it off. But anyway, let's just walk around. I'm just gonna babble, tell you what's working, what's not. Oh, on the post here, let me go back here. That's Jada back and barking there. She's our little Sheltie. So on the posts on these trellises that my husband and I built, we have, it's a Proven Winners, oh gosh, now I can't remember what it is. Is it Ming something? I'll put it on the screen. Again, look at those pink leaves. Did you ever think that you would find a tree with pink leaves? Oh, it's just beautiful. But let's scoot back this way a little bit. This is the first year I'm doing planters in the garden, or pots in the garden, so that's what all my annuals are that are on the table, but I still have to get them in. And this purple rhodie in the background, this was a splurge. It's not supposed to be hardy here, but I thought in the end it would be just beautiful to have the purple with the yellow foliage there. And it's been in there 2 years now and it has survived. So I'm crossing my fingers that it's semi-happy there. I know it gets too much sun, but it is blooming and it is growing. So eventually when the sunburst locust here gets big, it'll help shade it a little more, but right now it gets a chance to get its roots in the ground and get going. As gardeners, we all know one of the most beautiful sights is the water that gathers on top of the lady's mantle. We always look for those little things. Those little things make us happy. The rain is really, we've got branches that are hanging so low. We're gonna have to get out here and trim them down. But this is the back of my perennial garden. It's mostly shade. And since I've retired, I'm looking so forward to being able to do things such as separate these hostas a little bit. Originally when I planted them, they didn't seem like they were going to be that close together, but as you can see now, this big one, which I believe is Sum and Substance, or is it Sum and Substance? I'll have to think about which one it is, but it's huge. I don't know if you can get any idea how big those leaves are compared to my foot. But it is super happy there. And I kind of like the fact that I have this big, bold plant right along the edge. I think most people would think to put it in the back because it's so big, but it's one of those plants that I think people want to see up close. So having it on the edge is perfect for when there's tours, because a lot of people don't realize that hosta can get that big. But I definitely need to separate the two of those so that you can enjoy them and see their benefits of each other a little bit better. Got to get out here and trim back some stuff. But here's another favorite hosta. You can see the leaves are coming off my crab apples here. But this is Blue Angel, I think is what it is. I'll put it on the screen. But the leaves are just so pretty. It's kind of a dark gray blue with a very pale chartreuse. Oh, it's just so pretty. And again, it's happy there. It's been there a few years. I'm not gonna lie, these gardens are not brand new. I've been working on them for about 15 years now. And I'm so excited. They don't look like much, but they are hydrangeas, and they do have blossoms on them already. They survived the winter, so I am gonna get these hydrangeas to bloom. They're Proven Winners, I believe. They're the a reblooming type, so that's exciting because usually our winters are so cold that everything dies right back to the ground. Another of the Pearl Bush Proven Winners Deutzias. A pot I have to plant up, and then the back border is doing pretty good. Not much in bloom right at the moment, but my Ito peonies have nice buds on them. That's exciting. A garden is a work in progress. Not everything looks beautiful all the time. And to be honest, this back section gets the least attention. Oh, I'm gonna swing you under here, underneath the catalpa. For years I've had nothing under here. It's just been a storage spot for when I empty my pots every fall. And this year there's enough soil there that I decided to put some impatiens and hosta in there. So we'll see how that goes. And let's walk up this pathway. We have another pond here. This is surrounded by the Stella daylilies. Not the most exciting daylily, but it's really, really happy there. I want to change it up, but all in good time, all in good time. This is my Scotch thistle. I allow it to, I deadhead it, but sometimes seeds get away, and I do allow them to come up wherever they want to. It is a deadly, prickly thing. Definitely don't want to get near it. Let's come back this way. This is another section of the garden that really needs some work. But I've got some things that are doing really, really well. I have a lot of daylilies. They'll be in bloom in July, so make sure you check back in July when the daylilies are in bloom. These heuchera, I don't know what variety they are. I gathered them up from the neighbors. She was throwing them out. And I said, oh, I think they're gonna do fine. And they are happy, happy, happy right there. I'm not so sure about what's going on here. That's a weeping redbud. And I think I'm weeping more than the redbud is, because it doesn't seem to be leafing out. And it was just glorious. I use leaves for mulch, and I just piled a big bunch of them here so I could spread them in the garden. Eventually this will all get planted up over the years. But now that I'm retired, I have time to do all this wonderful stuff. A geranium. That might be something else I want to add up into that front garden bed, because this reseeds nicely as well. That's something to think about. Hostas. My peonies have beautiful buds on them. Crossing my fingers that they're gonna work. There's another volunteer geranium there. That might be calling for a transplant. The lupins are just starting to come up and back. Hopefully I'll do another tour in 2 weeks and they will be in bloom, so you'll get to see what that looks like. Another area that's a work in progress. There's my thistle. And you can see these rhodies are in full bloom. This is Roseum elegans. Typically, when you go shopping for rhodies in our area, this is the one that you find the most of. It's the most reliably hardy. We're kind of in a tough zone for rhodies, but I'm gonna try and pick up some more different ones. So as we come along here, you can see I do have a little bit of formality in my garden. I've got these clipped spires, and then it's just going out of bloom here, but I don't know if you can see this. It's pretty much taking up the whole screen right now. That is a bloomerang lilac from Proven Winners, and it has just gotten huge. As much as I hate to do it, I am going to have to take a hard trim to that to get it back in size. Again, more leaf pile, and we just healed some shrubs in over the winter. Got a hawthorn in there and a variegated birch. Have yet to find homes for them. And we start swinging back around here again. Coming this way. Another work in progress. It's going to be a progress, or can't talk. It's going to be something I need to work on, is this tick seed has finally overtaken this garden. It's been in there for 10, 15 years, and it was well behaved until about last year when it just decided that it wants to run like crazy. So that means I'm going to be digging it up, putting it out by the side of the road for free. Now these shrubs that are in the background here, these blobs, those are my limelight hydrangeas. I prune mine back hard, almost to the point of calling it coppicing every single year. But you'll have to follow along and see what they look like in July and August. Here's one of those verbascum that we were talking about earlier. They come up every once in a while, but I do not let things reseed. I mulch heavily with the leaves, and that prevents weeds from germinating as well as other things. Beautiful iris coming up, and underneath that is the cat's pajamas, the little tiny nepeta from Proven Winners. In the back, there's the Amsonia from Proven Winners. Storm Cloud is the one that has the really dark stems. Highly, highly recommend that plant. Got the lamb's ears. Just a nice mix of foliage texture here. I'm going to back up so you can see what this garden looks like from a distance. I love flowers, but I also like to do beautiful foliage and plant in drifts. Any little pockets that are bare in my perennial garden, I'm going to be tucking in annuals to help give that continuous bloom. And then back in there is my hydrangea hedge. And that will be a thing of beauty come July. Doesn't look like much now. And as we come back this way, you can see my yellow smoke bush. And they're not in bloom yet, but back underneath the bottom there is the spigelia, which should be red and yellow. I'm so excited. I bought those online and they were tiny, tiny plants, but they are doing really well. And then you can see we are back at that purple rhodie. And then we have some allium. I really need to move the allium because I don't like this. I like the fact that the foliage dies to the ground, but I don't like this look of the dead foliage. So I think I need to move the alliums. I think I'm gonna mix them in with my peonies this fall so that the peony foliage will hide that dead yellow stuff from the allium. But again, you just turn around here and we are pretty much back where we started on the back perennial garden. And then we're just gonna flip around here. There's the tricolored beech. And we're back at the patio. And when you come out of the house, you come outside, you're greeted to the courtyard. And if you have to go get mail, you get to walk out to the mailbox through my beautiful spring garden that's underneath my river birch. Ooh, I don't know if we got that bird on the thing, but there's a catbird that nests out here in the front. I don't know if we can get her. She's back in there. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see her. There she goes. But this area is just full of birds. They love it here. And the hummingbirds. Like I said, plant this columbine for the hummingbirds. They are here constantly. And we are back at the front. So thank you so much for watching this video. I'll try and do an update in another 2 weeks. And please like and subscribe if you follow along. Let me know if there's anything you want me to share in my upcoming videos. I know some of you have suggested iris and some have said something about grasses. And as we come into that season a little bit more, I will be sure to share that with you. But right now, things are just a little bit wet and a little bit cool here in Blossvale, New York. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope it's not raining in your garden and you can get out and do some gardening of your very own. Take care, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. I'm also going to post some other videos, so click on those from time to time.